There has been a deluge of controversy around Johnny Depp throughout the years. His long-running feud with the press, his tumultuous romance with Amber Heard, and the court battles that followed fascinated the public. Rather than being a fleeting disagreement, this was a long-running fight that often seemed to be happening right now. The whole process, including all developments, court appearances, and evidence, was documented and made available to the public. Depp was engulfed in an incessant media whirlwind due to domestic abuse accusations and the lawsuit that followed. For a man who had been a Hollywood icon for decades, this was a sea shift in public perception of Depp. A key figure in a well-publicized Hollywood scandal, he had gone from being a famous actor known for his eccentric performances and magnetic personality. Lil-rose Depp, his daughter, remained remarkably silent while the storm roared around him. While Johnny was the focus of attention owing to allegations, court drama, and public opinion, Lil-rose opted to remain out of the spotlight. As the storm engulfed her, she opted to stay out of the spotlight for a long time. Her family's name kept popping up in the headlines and everyone was waiting for her to say something. Famous children seldom get involved in their parents' scandals. When they do, it's generally to either back their parents or stay away from them, depending on the gravity of the case. Being born into stardom, Lil-rose's decision to stay silent was noteworthy and unexpected. There are times when being silent is the best course of action, especially in this day of ubiquitous online commentary. She didn't quickly defend her father or publicly express her support, which many people didn't understand since her father's image was frequently ruined. The public often expected celebrities to react swiftly to occurrences of this kind because of their public stature. For Lil-rose, just the idea of safeguarding her privacy sounded revolutionary. Finally, she's making her appearance, and her words could catch you off guard. Lil-rose was far from passive. Her silence was an act of defiance, protection, and maturity. Lil-rose, despite her youth, decided to protect herself and her family safe by ignoring the issue, as renowned people are supposed to be extremely loud about their sentiments, particularly during family troubles. She kept her mouth shut on purpose because she knew the media could twist facts and stories whatever they wanted. As the world around her wondered, she carefully considered the potential repercussions of her remarks. The potential impact of her remarks on her father, her family, and her career was something she was well aware of. Because her words may be paraphrased, examined, and enlarged in this culture, she felt she had to keep silent. The impact of silence surpasses that of words in many ways. Behind Lil-rose's reserved demeanor was a story of growing up, of family loyalty, and of emotional turmoil, all of which shaped her into the woman she is now. It wasn't just that she didn't want anybody to notice her. She also wanted to express herself in a situation when doing so would have made her condition worse. Lil-rose had to find her own identity while continuing her father's work in the midst of a devastating storm. From the outside looking in, she may have resembled Johnny Depp, but behind the scenes, she was busy developing her own personality, apart from the controversies that had surrounded her father. Quietness conveys much in Hollywood. In Hollywood, admirers may learn every aspect of a star's personal life, because nobody can afford to be private anymore in this day of social media, paparazzi, and gossip publications. In this town, everyone has an opinion, and everyone can see every detail of everyone else's life, just like in a Hollywood film. Due to the constant need for updates and speculations, it is difficult for celebrities to escape public attention for more than a few days. For this reason, the decision of a celebrity daughter, such as Lil-rose, to stay out of the paparazzi's shadow about her father's personal life is important. This isn't just an act of defiance, it's a strategic attempt to prevent more scrutiny of her and her family. For some, her silence was an act. Was staying out of it something you were going to do on purpose? By avoiding the controversies, was she attempting to protect her budding career? Everyone was trying to figure out why she was so quiet, and the media and the public alike were making wild assumptions about her motivations. Silence, especially from famous individuals, is sometimes taken for disapproval, and Lil-rose's choice to stay quiet caused a lot of people to suspect her. In Hollywood, speculation has almost the same weight as reality. Juggling one's personal life with the demands of others is a delicate balancing act. Lil-rose, who was born into stardom, had a tough time juggling these two worlds. What the audience wanted, answers, remarks, and emotions, she flat out refused to give them. As a result of their confusion at her prolonged silence, many individuals began to speculate. Was it a question of standing by her dad's side? Concerned that I could make a mistake in my speech? A desire to protect oneself from the hostile tabloid media? While it's possible that none of these ideas were totally accurate, they did all provide intriguing tales. Did it represent the complex emotional landscape she navigated as the public-facing daughter of a famous actor whose life was in a public upheaval, or was it something else entirely? Behind the scenes, things were occurring that Lil-rose had never encountered before, especially for someone her age. Both her own and her father's lineage's futures were dubious. Finding a way to satisfy both her family's expectations and her desire to establish her own path in life was a challenge she faced. The nuances of Lil-rose's quiet as she advances are finally starting to sink in. To protect herself and others she cared about, she remained silent and out of the spotlight. Her story is about more than just her family and fame. It's about the inner battles she fought to overcome public scrutiny and the complicated feelings about her father's connection. In the face of a world that seemed to be watching her every move, she made the difficult decision to stay mute. Her silence was clearly a sign of profound introspection and survival, rather than evasion. She made the best decision she could have by staying quiet. Although she was undoubtedly affected by the public storm she was in, she was able to have some influence over a life that was otherwise entirely out of her hands by choosing to keep mute. Lil-rose Depp had it rough growing up, even though her family was famous and rich. Although many people mistakenly assume that children of celebrities have it easy, there are real challenges to being a popular figure's kid. Her famous parents, Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis, put her life under continual scrutiny even as a young child. Because of her circumstances, she was never given the opportunity to grow up alone and make mistakes undetected. Every incident, dress, and connection was used by the media. Johnny Depp's fame in Hollywood meant that Lil-rose was also watched closely. The spotlight was squarely on Depp and his loved ones. Johnny Depp's loyal fan base couldn't get enough of the mystery actor's beautiful daughter, and the tabloids documented their every move. The paparazzi even set up camp outside their residences. The public's fascination with renowned families put an extra strain on Lil-rose. She was a youngster who grew up in the spotlight. She wasn't your typical child, where her every move may land her on the cover of a glossy magazine. From a distance, many may be envious, but few can really understand the tremendous demands placed on one to thrive when born into a family of famous people. Lil-rose had no interest in becoming famous, even though it's normal for kids to be envious of famous parents. The situation was hers to accept, and she made no resistance to it. She never had genuine freedom. I didn't choose this world. It was given to me, and while I love parts of it, there are parts that have been really hard. Even though she has a soft spot for her famous parents' lives, she admits in an interview that she hasn't always loved being in the limelight. The kids' mother, Vanessa Paradis, was a fierce advocate for their privacy and made sure they spent their childhood in France, far from the prying eyes of the media. But the emphasis never really waned anywhere, not even in France. Not much you can do to avoid danger when your dad is Johnny Depp. As Lil-rose neared puberty, she became more of a media darling. With her father's famed acting career behind her, the public was interested to see her develop into a young woman. For most people, adolescence is a time of coming into one's own and learning to live apart from their parents. During this time, you will learn by doing, making mistakes along the way. The media, however, followed Lil-rose about like a hawk from the time she was a tiny kid. Many times she was seen by the tabloid journalists. Everyone was chatting about her adolescence, her pals, and her fashion choices as she went about her day. Because the paparazzi were always taking photographs of her, even going shopping or out with friends became a nightmare. The paparazzi would trail her down the street, hoping to get an unguarded moment to sell to the newspapers. Unlike other celebrity children, she chose to stay out of the limelight. Her aspirations were more in line with her own values than with the pursuit of fame per se. She maintained her composure and deftly navigated the chaos despite the immense pressure to be the perfect celebrity child. Instead of pursuing fame for herself, Lil-rose subtly pursued her acting and modeling ambitions, distancing herself from the Depp name as she went. Growing up, she sought solace in her mother's sphere of fashion, art, and music. The legendary French singer and actress Vanessa Paradis deserves all the credit she gets. As a muse for Chanel at the tender age of 16, Lil-rose followed in her mother's footsteps into the fashion world. While playing this pivotal part, which propelled her to stardom on a global scale, she had complete creative control over her public character. She was Johnny Depp's daughter and a rising star in the acting world. As a youngster, she saw the beginning of the unraveling of her father's private life, and as she grew older, the scrutiny only intensified. As much as it was a tragedy for Johnny Depp's family, the world saw his fall into infamy. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship was a media circus for a long time, and Lil-rose was undoubtedly a part of it. It wasn't only his court battles with Amber Heard that made headlines. Her father's personal and business life was a total disaster. Media speculation, emotional witness statements, court documents, and charges held the public's interest. Johnny Depp went from being a beloved Hollywood actor to being embroiled in controversy, while Lil-rose found herself catapulted into the spotlight for circumstances she had no control over. All eyes were on her, waiting for her to finally speak. Was she going to defend her dad? Every newspaper and internet post had that same question. Would she confront him with the accusations? No amount of words could have possibly captured the strange stillness that followed. Their curiosity was piqued, and they asked her to explain her stance. Lil-rose, however, was determined not to give in to their pressure. She was under tremendous pressure from the media and public opinion polls, but she remained silent and unmoved. This silence, however, was more complex than it first seemed. It wasn't mindless apathy or a calculated effort to avoid criticism. Instead, she took a very personal decision to protect her family. She was grappling with a devastating reality, unnoticed by the general population. The man who had been her hero, her father figure, and her role model, was being discredited by the media. Even though she wanted to shield him, she was afraid that if she spoke up, someone might use her comments against him or her. His every move and statement was scrutinized and criticized. A lot of people failed to notice that this public scandal included Lil-rose's father, family, and personal life. The level of intrusion into that person's private life was already excessive. Johnny Depp's family, especially Lil-rose, felt the effects of the media's relentless attention even before his court battles with Amber Heard. Observing her father's increasing withdrawal from public view, she could feel the strain it was putting on him. Lil-rose knew all too well the horrible burden that came with her beloved's fame, even while it afforded them a life of luxury. Meanwhile, Lil-rose was trying to make it big in the entertainment industry on her own as an actress and model. She was forging her own path in the business world, but she couldn't escape the stigma associated with her father's name. No matter how much she tried to distance herself from the Depp name, comparisons would inevitably arise. Those who were critical of her tended to focus on the nepotism theory rather than her actual abilities or efforts. Her father's legal troubles just added to the intense scrutiny she was already under. In addition to fighting for acceptability from the general public, there was a mental and emotional struggle. She has spoken frankly about the emotional toll that all this attention has had on Lil-rose. She was burdened by the weight of her own identity, as well as the need to defend her father. She knew the press would use any statement she made against her father, which may damage her father's case and her own career. The dangers were too high, so she chose to remain silent for quite some time. In an open interview, Lil-rose finally spoke up after years of silence. She spoke on her deep-seated anxiety that others would misunderstand her. She continued by saying that the media's obsession with her family made her feel constrained. Apart from her father's legal issues, she also had to cope with a never-ending barrage of questions about her relationship to him and her part in the whole scandal. Furthermore, Lil-rose said that her relationship with her dad was very personal and something she chose not to share with the world. The media, she said, was preoccupied with Johnny Depp's public image, whereas their private relationship was founded on love, trust, and mutual respect. His choices may have made her nervous, but her love for him never wavered. She continued by saying that she wasn't attempting to make a statement, but rather to protect her own peace of mind. Being silent was a self-care measure that Lil-rose adopted. She was worried about the impact on her mental health and knew that the media circus would make matters worse if she came out. She decided to stay quiet to safeguard her independence, privacy, and tranquility. She is content with her decision despite the occasional difficulties. In fact, she saw it as a necessary step in protecting her unique identity from a culture that insisted on linking her only to her father's actions. The reason why remained a mystery, even after the radio was silent for so long. In light of all that has transpired, why has Lil-rose chosen to come out now? According to her, the answer has several dimensions. What mattered most was that she now felt like enough time had passed to reflect on the events of the last several years. After giving herself time to work through her feelings, she felt ready to provide her candid view. Additionally, she felt compelled to clarify a few points about the misconceptions surrounding her choice to stay quiet. Lil-rose made it clear that she was not oblivious to what was happening around her just because she remained silent. It was her and her loved one's deepest suffering that she revealed the situation had wrought. Instead of dealing with things in the open, she decided to do it privately, her way. Without drawing attention to herself, she wished to support her father in a private manner, away from the spotlight of the media. In an interview, Lil-rose said that her father was the one who taught her to never give up. Through it all, Johnny Depp has remained true to himself. Lil-rose is quite impressed by his ability to remain true to himself in the face of persecution, controversy, and court battles. According to her, her father taught her that no matter what, you should always be yourself and stay fast. In light of her lengthy quiet, Lil-rose offers perceptive analysis of the complex web of ties between famous people and their families. She is well aware of the benefits and challenges that come with being the daughter of a renowned person. She prioritized her health above the many calls for her to come out. The importance of privacy was also hinted at, especially in this day and age of social media, when the every action of celebrities is keenly monitored. Lil-rose has discovered that isolating herself has been crucial for coping with the ups and downs of fame and her mental health. No one has the right to know the ins and outs of her personal problems, she says, despite the fact that her life is in the limelight. The decision to speak out is a watershed moment in Lil-rose's life. She has spoken out in favor of her father and regained control of her narrative. Her ability to think critically and stand firm on her convictions in the face of criticism demonstrates that she is more than just Johnny Depp's daughter. She is a powerful, self-reliant lady. After all these years of silence, Johnny Depp's daughter finally spoke forward, and he must have felt a mixture of pride and relief. Through good times and bad, his bond with Lil-rose has remained strong. Their love has not only endured but flourished in the face of all the controversy, public criticism, and intensive scrutiny. Silence was not an act of indifference on Lil-rose's. Rather, it was a response to love, fear, and the need to save herself. As she willingly steps into the spotlight, she has shown that silence may be just as powerful as speaking out. Just in case you thought the longest stories weren't the most important, here it is again. Make sure you check back because Lil-rose Depp isn't finished yet.